Today we have with us Sarthak, Jain and Prathamesh Juvatkar. They were conferred the Young Alumni Excellence Award for Outstanding Entrepreneurship. Jain and Prathamesh graduated from IIT Gandhinagar with a BTech in Electric Engineering and a minor in Computer Science in 2012. So you founded the company called Qbet, which later on was acquired by Myntra, and it was founded in IIT Jain. Can you tell us more about that journey?
Sure. So while we were students at IIT Gandhinagar, we started this company Qbit, and it was quite an interesting journey starting on campus and then becoming adults and moving to set up your own office, etc. I think IIT Gandhinagar gave us a platform to get started and also meet our co-founders. So that was super valuable, and I think really thankful to IIT Gandhinagar for that.
Yeah, I think the best way to start company is, with the people that you have been for all 4 years, right? And even the process of doing that, because for us it was a big jump, right? Right after graduation, starting something of your own. But the kind of help that we got from IIT Gandhinagar, initial funding, etc., that made that transition very easy, right? We did not have to think a lot about how we are going to do that. So.
Right now, you guys are heading a company called NanoNets, and I'm more interested in how did your friendship begin and how has it formed throughout and become stronger through Qbet and NanoNet and all these other ventures that you have together. How is your friendship stronger than ever? Does it take a lot of effort? How do you do it so well?
I think to start a company, you should. There's no necessary you have to be friends with your co-founder, but it definitely helps when you are. We've known each other for about 14 years now. We've been roommates for maybe 6-7 of those years. So I think a lot of it comes naturally to us, where there's a lot less bickering because we've known each other. The downside is you end up having the same opinions on pretty much everything, which is there is hardly any disagreement, which is not always the best of things as well. So I think being friends for such a long time has been really helpful, and I think that's been a good backbone of a strong partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at typical startups, right? One of the big reasons startups don't work out because co-founders break up, but good thing about being known each other very well is you also understand other person's perspective very well, right? So you know where they are coming from when they are making a decision, etc. So yeah, probably that's a really good thing. And I think being through very difficult situations together, that definitely makes friendship much stronger, right? So yeah, helps us in both personal as well as professional life.
Do you remember what ignited your friendship? Did you see each other at IIT Gandhinagar and fall in love at first sight? Friendship at first sight, was it? Or no. But how did your friendship go from IIT Gandhinagar to
Yeah, I remember Prathamesh and I used to live on the same floor in college, and I think the way we became friends was I think just hanging out together all throughout, and then a lot of college projects done together. I think even let's say if you asked me 1 or 2 years into college that who's the person you're going to let's say start a company with later in life, it'll be tough to tell because you had so many great friendships. But I think working together, doing projects together during college, having fights with professors over things, that definitely helped ignite the friendship. So only I think later on you realize that you might be friends with certain people, but working requires a different level of friendship than just people you want to hang out with.
Yeah. And like Sarthak mentioned, I think doing projects is really important, right? Together, because there you're working on something that is very open-ended, and you're doing something of your own, right? So I think that I believe helped a lot, and obviously both of us have been from like same place, Bombay. So that helped connect us a little bit more. Have been in same branch doing projects together, talking about like our internships in other universities. So I think we've been through like a lot of very similar experiences, and like towards the end of our BTech, like that, like sort of clicked, right? That these are the people that that you could start something with. So yeah.
Later on, after forming a company and having grid ants technologies, you came back to IIT Jain to recruit people as part of your team in 2014, I think. What made you come back? What sets IIT Jain students apart that you wanted to recruit from here for your company?
Sure. I think initially it was just that maybe alma mater, so you want to try doing that. I don't think there's that much of a difference between recruiting from, let's say, one IIT or the other. And not to sell IIT Gandhinagar short, I'm just saying that all of the IITs are great and you want to recruit from the best institutes possible. But I think the thing that's different about IIT Gandhinagar to some extent is that there's definitely an entrepreneurial spirit where I think this from our batch, there's now 3 successful companies. And I'm not talking about like small levels of success, quite large outcomes from 3 companies of a batch of 90, which is like 6 different people starting companies. So I think having the entrepreneurial mindset is something that's slightly different from other IITs where there's a much stronger focus on that. But I'd say that I'm sure all of the IITs are great and there is some differences, but maybe this is something that sets IIT Gandhinagar apart.
Yeah, and I think in our case, it was a natural choice because we knew, like being the first batch, and like we being very small group of students, right? We knew even our juniors, like who is like sort of strong at what. So that I think made very natural for us to like just like the first place to look at like people that right? Well, who can do what better. That made us like very natural choice for us to like sort of pick IIT Gandhinagar, at least at that time when even we had like very small network, right? So yeah.
What word of advice would you give for IITians or IIT Gandhinagar students to start their own companies? And
I think I'd say don't start your companies unless you think there is a very, very strong reason why, because starting a company is a very painful process, which I think people underestimate while doing it. So there should be very strong reason why you're doing it. Starting a company by itself is not a good enough reason. You not wanting to work for somebody else, wanting to start on your own, all of those are terrible reasons to start a company. I think the only good reason is that there is a particular problem that you feel really needs to be solved or addressed. And then you should think about starting a company, which I think is not the case for most college students. So I'd almost say starting out of college is in general a terrible idea. You're probably better off working for a few years before starting your own company, unless there's a very strong reason why you think you should.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean like unless so we have like for example we end up interviewing a lot of people who have like started their startups and like then gave up within a year or two, right? And one common thing is because like they think like it's really cool, but like once they actually start doing it, right, they see that like it's not all cool, right? Like you have to do a lot of like random stuff, right, that you never thought you would end up spending your time with. So unless there is like very high motivation to do something, right, like if like that this is what I want to do from day one, I would say like if you don't have that level of motivation in the beginning, right, but it's not a good idea to start something.
And finally, what does it feel like coming back to campus? What memories does that spark? Or how has your relationship fared with your professors along the time?
It's a mixed bag because unfortunately this campus we can't relate too much because we didn't spend our time here, but I think the memories are of the people more than the place, which is when we see faculty, I think we keep reminiscing about old times and interesting shared experiences and memories, meeting other alumni. We spend a lot of time together, so definitely very nostalgic, and a lot of our formative years were spent here. So brings back all of those memories of great times together.
Yeah, and I think looking back, like still relatively it's a young institute, right? But like the kind of like sort of success that like a lot of people had, right? Alumni. I think it's really great. Like I believe that like truly, IIT Gandhinagar have done like really well. So yeah, like just coming back, like sort of thinking about all those like past 10 years, like makes you think that like Institute has really achieved something. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I hope we continue maintaining the bond with IITG and maybe come back for recruiting or just keep visiting and playing TT here and maybe enjoy the campus, which you didn't have a chance to back then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
We take every chance we can to enjoy the camp.
We take every chance we can to enjoy the campus.
Thanks a lot for hosting us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.